According to Justice Robert Jackson, during a consideration he had when he was involved with cases that were alleging communist activity and that the Communist Party was a dangerous organization. The declaration was that the Communist Party is a conspiratory and revolutionary junta organized to reach ends and to use methods which are incompatible with our unconstitutional system. And then he defines five areas that constitute it as such as unconstitutional. One, the goal of the Communist Party is to seize powers of government by and for a minority rather than to acquire power through the vote of a free electorate. Two, the Communist Party, done among American parties, past or present, is dominated and controlled by a foreign government. I'm sorry, alone among American parties. Three, violent and undemocratic means are the calculated and indispensable methods to attain the Communist Party's goals. Four, the Communist Party has sought to gain this leverage and hold on the American population by acquiring control of the labor movement. Five, every member of the Communist Party is an agent to execute the communist program. For the last couple of years, the Federal Reserve, in concert with other interlocutors and people who feel for whatever reason that they're entitled to do so, have been playing this little game where every once in a while they create an arbitrary workers' demonstration. They're playing as if a bunch of bourgeoisie and a bunch of elitists who have undemocratically seized control of our basic resources and used electronic weapons to torment us for years are somehow the workers trying to rise up. It's 100% contrivance. It is, as Justice Jackson said, a conspiratorial junta in the worst sense of the word. I have all of the evidence and information necessary to prove these allegations. We are now in a situation where they're using biological warfare in some sort of pseudo simulation of attempting to address a plight of lack of compensation or attention to the relationship of workers and their capacity to make their ends meet or to obtain what they need. But this is absolutely 100% contrived, and part and parcel with it is to engage in acts of depravity around the actual exploitation of children and other people, including us while we're in our homes, being harvested while they're robbing us and attempting to contrive false scenarios to compel and coerce us into cooperation. I contend that what certain people in Congress and the Senate, as well as people abusing their authority in local governments, including the judicial branch, are doing is a conspiratorial junta. Is it the Communist Party? Well, the ironic thing is there's nothing actually communist about it. They're playing communist and they're pretending that they're so much smarter than the rest of us that we don't even know what communism really is. We don't even know what socialism really is. So they can throw around words while they mimic and implicate and insinuate the worst stereotypes and contrivances of the menace of communism under the guise of some sort of health pandemic response. It's not only unconstitutional, but it's a war crime. Beyond the role playing fetishism of the working class and Soviet chic that's been epitomized by the sensationalism around alleged Russian spies or downtrodden Ukrainians being chastised is a very real reality of people attempting to dispossess us of the most basic rights and sign us up for years of debt obligation and service requirements that legally constitute slavery. We need to react appropriately in this situation. I understand that right now what they're doing is the kind of thing that needs to be suppressed with the means we have at our disposal domestically. And so exercising our rights to protest and remonstrate is an acceptable thing to do. But where are the people that serve the people of the United States? If the president is compromised in his capacity to be chief executive under a constitutional mandate to serve the interests of the people, because he is co conspiring in machinations to undermine the government of the people, then we need an appropriate response from every possible sector. And I am not talking about the Health and Human Services or the Centers for Disease Control. We need action, and we need judicial action, and we need military action if necessary to suppress and to cease and desist these activities. There are legal means available. You already know what they are, to remove the culprits from office pending an appropriate proceeding, and to have an alternative situation engaged at this time in order to see to it that this does not continue to proliferate any further. It's 12:18 a.m. on August 24th, 2020.